Hi there. Well, this is a test run, but I thought I'd do a little bit of gentle yoga that we could do together. So here I am. We may have interruptions, but um, so just moving the body is good. It improves circulation in general and tends to release endorphins, makes us feel a little happier, gets us breathing, and these are good things during times of, we can't go to the gym, the yoga studios are closed, and we may have been watching a lot of television or just feeling a bit cramped quarters, being isolated or more contained at home than usual. Anyway, I always find that for myself, and I teach therapeutic yoga, a lot of people really enjoy just elements of yoga rather than a big asana practice or the classical poses. So that's kind of my area that I tend to get into is isolating movement, but I come from a serious yoga background. I studied with some wonderful, amazing teachers, I won't name them all, but I come from quite a lineage of people who have committed their lives to yoga. But what I've found in my own teaching practice, and even in my own body, coming from a dance background and coming from a background doing more athletic yoga when I was younger, is just that I find maintenance yoga and to be the most helpful, just on a daily kind of like keeping myself comfortable basis. So I thought I'd share some of that. So if you like to sit comfortably, I find starting out on a blanket, if I'm going to sit for any length of time with my spine straight, it just helps me keep my pelvis upright, and then I can really lift up out of that base and then bloom out at the heart and continue to get a sense of openness. It also, sitting upright as opposed to rocking back into the seat, allows me to create a better shoulder girdle support, and this supports respiration. And when we're breathing better, when we're able to breathe in all the different parts of our breathing apparatus easily, the mind feels better, the body feels better. We need oxygen as humans to thrive and to do everything, so digestion is improved if we can create more space in the abdominal cavity. There's not so much compression. So all these good arguments for sitting tall. So take a moment and let your hands touch on your legs, because that is a sense of what we call grounding, connection, solidity. Feel your seat on whatever you're sitting on and your feet on the floor. Allow in your back body, your shoulder blades, and think of them as sort of friendly, helpful hands, these plates of bone that come around into the back of the rib cage and kind of help to support lifting the heart. So your hands are lifting your heart and lungs. Take your attention to the placement of your head above your body. Your head is a kind of a heavy object, and if you throw it forwards, a lot of tension goes into the neck. A lot of muscles have to work to hold that forward head position. But if we're constantly craning forwards to look into a screen or whatever is in front of us, this is what happens, and it becomes a permanent postural issue. So, there's a little bone in the throat. It's called the hyoid. It sort of free floats, and if you think of it as a horseshoe shape pointing backwards into the throat, take that back and lift it back and up underneath you, and this can help to create this lift of the base of your skull. And lifting the base of the skull is one of the parts to positioning your head, placing your head right above your pelvis. So again, that forward head position, not very easy to maintain, puts a lot of stress and ends up with muscles building up. Stacking your head above your pelvis is like stacking quarters. They stay there on their own, they don't need glue. So you want to position your head over your pelvis, and between your head and your pelvis, that spine is as open and long as possible. The collarbones, imagine them extending out like a really wide wing collar shirt. And from those wide shoulders that you're creating, the arms can easily flow downwards. There's no need to support a special position in the arms. They just flow down to where they're comfortable. You take your inner eye down into your body and imagine where your body makes contact with whatever you sit on that's secure and grounded and solid. So your buttock bones and the ischial tuberosities in the base of your pelvis angle down towards the center of the earth. They're very slightly angled in and down. These muscles here at the tops of the legs, what we want to promote is that they relax. And when you're sitting balanced in your pelvis and you have the support that you need, and that support may change as your practice progresses, but when you have what you need for the pelvis to be upright, the iliopsoas muscles can start to soften and relax. You might even take the heels of your hands and just kind of press into them, and this is going to help to just signal to these very active muscles that they could relax. Feet are both on the floor. I don't really like to hook one foot up unless you can hook up both feet in Padmasana, and that isn't, for the majority of us, that's not a comfortable or healthy position to be in. Say your knees get an awful twist from that. So just cross your legs. Your legs can be crossed halfway down the shins, or at the ankles is sometimes nice, allowing, and you can't quite see it, but allowing the knees to reach down and touch the floor. So your legs are as balanced and symmetrical as possible. So back to the buttock bones, think of them angling down like roots into the ground. And it doesn't matter if you're on a second or third floor, not on ground level. This is your ground. This is the way you connect to the earth. Your bone structure is your earth, and you're connecting that mineral bone structure within your body to the mineral structure of our planet, of our earth. It's all the same materials. We're all made of the same stuff, organized in slightly different ways. So feel that mineral earth element of yourself connecting. Take a moment to feel that, and then start to allow the flow of the breath to come through the body. So that air quality coming up and through you. Feel the flow of the air quality coming in through the nostrils and coming down and expanding within you, and then leaving through the same channels. And that in and out tide of breath is something to return to as a point of focus throughout any practice, anytime you like. Before we move, just take a moment to think about water quality in the body. So we are composed of, majority of what we are around this mineral is aqueous. And so feel your belly is kind of aqueous, and your eyes and your brain and your skin, your membranes, your mouth and your tongue. Think of all the watery aspects of yourself, all the secretions of the body. We are very watery beings. Even though we live outside of the ocean, we're very aquatic in a lot of ways. So just take a moment to think of that. And then another aspect is space. We have space around us. There's a negative space pressing up into our skin. And then there are spaces within us. For instance, the space of the oral cavity, the space of the lungs, the space around the internal organs. And if you close your eyes for a moment, can you find a space inside of your eyes? And this is a great place to meditate on, very softly resting your attention on the spaciousness inside of your eyes. How much ease and how much space can you detect? Is there more space as you breathe in, or more space as you breathe out? Can your eyes be soft as you breathe in? And can you feel the depth and space inside and around the eyes? So if you like to softly open your eyes and see what I'm doing. I'm bringing my hands to the tops of my legs, and I'm just going to start to roll the shoulders in a backwards direction as I keep the pressure down through the wrists. And as I keep this wrist pressure down into the very, very tops of my legs, the root of the thigh, close to the psoas, I might be able to hear a little bit of crunching and crackling through my shoulders if there's tightness or scar tissue, and I'm just working through that to improve the lubrication of the shoulders. We want to be able to isolate our shoulders from our rib cage, so rolling the shoulders is a really important movement. I like to go the other way too, so turn the palms up and use the pressure point right here, which improves circulation in the body. So you're going to walk the shoulders forwards. This is the other direction now, and just doing one at a time. Again, a rolling action, and it's not to say your ribs shouldn't move. In fact, I encourage you to move your ribs a little bit too. It's like walking forwards, one shoulder and then the other, keeping that bit of pressure through the wrist. So, as I was taught it, these points in the wrists relate to points in the body called mama points, and putting that little bit of pressure on these two exercises on the inner and the outer wrists improves circulation and flexibility in the body. So I've slid my hands out, so the palms are upturned, and they're a little further away now, and I'm going to hunch my shoulders up and put as much tension as possible up into the tops of my shoulders, like really hunch them up. Do what most of the teachers, me included, all of the time are telling you not to do, which is like, let your shoulders hunch up. And then through your mouth, exhale with a relaxed jaw and just drop that tension. And we'll just do that twice more, and I won't talk while doing it. Shoulders up. So oftentimes, putting tension and then releasing it takes you to a more relaxed place, having put the tension and dropped it. And take your index fingers and find your collarbone notch, the sternal notch. Here's your sternum, here's your collarbones, there's a little notch there. Draw a line out to the outer shoulders. You can do it more than once. Open up the top chest. And then drop your hands back down to that comfortable position, keeping that openness here at the top chest, keeping that sense of the hyoid lifting inwards and upwards, and the crown of the head continuing to lift, and those buttock bones continuing to release down. So you're in a very open position again, and a well-aligned head over body. Keeping your jaw relaxed, your eyes relaxed, and keeping your chin and cheekbones really level. Just turn your head from side to side. So notice I'm not angling, at least I'm hoping I'm not angling my head, not tilting it forwards or backwards or to the side. I'm just exploring the range of motion left and right. And I might find it easier to do with my eyes closed. Again, you might hear grinding, gritty noises in the neck, and this is just because you need to do this. As you do this, also, a few more times, remember to breathe. Remember to relax your arms and feel their weight. And for some reason, feel your thumb muscles, big muscles, those opposable thumbs tend to get tense. If you find your thumbs getting all tense, just let that go, because it isn't helpful in this case. It's just an old habit. So finish your head turns and come back to center, and bring your fingertips up onto your shoulders and tap, 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 like back of the neck and the tops of the shoulders, the top of the chest and the top of the shoulders. And this tapping thing, you can take it all over the place. You can go to your sinuses, you might do sinus points. Maybe I'll do a video just on this at some point. But tapping the shoulders and then just using that tapping to remind your shoulders to release away from your ears. And elbows super wide, so you don't want them down, and you also don't want them up. You want to maintain your core uprightness and shoulders releasing down. And we're going to do a little something from Kundalini Yoga, which is to twist. We'll do it fairly slowly. So as you turn to your left, I'm going to go to my right, just so I'm mirroring you. Inhale and exhale to the right. So you're inhaling left, exhaling right. And we'll just do a few of these together, and I won't talk. I like to make my breath a little more audible as I do this, and it sounds a little bit to me like a steam train. So that breath is done through the nose, and I end the exercise by inhaling left, my left, and exhaling back to center. This is a twisting action, and it helps to enliven the spine and move out any little pops and crackles from your spine. It's really important to keep your pelvis upright to support that long spine, and really important that you relax your shoulders and don't gather tension up around your neck and shoulders as you do it. But it's a good one. You can do it with eyes open or closed. In Kundalini Yoga, sometimes we even combine it with a mantra, like Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru. It's fun. I love Kundalini. I'm really an eclectic when it comes to yoga. Take from whatever makes sense to me. So the fun, moving aspects of Kundalini have always appealed, and then the alignment and intelligence of Iyengar yoga have always been very informative, along with the strong breath-related flow of something like Ashtanga, or on a more therapeutic level, the Vinyasa yoga, breath and movement connections. I don't really like to put one hat on and say that that's my only hat. I like to do all the things. So let's go from what we were doing to an open chest position, elbows open, and then bring those elbows together and round back. And I'll sit sideways for a few rounds of this. So this is a spinal flex exercise, and it moves the spine in the sagittal plane, front and back, and is really important. It's so important to move your spine in general, and it's a good one for just kind of helping to help the discs that support the bones of the spine to imbibe more fluid and stay cushy and supportive and a good shock absorber. So hands on the shoulders for this version of this. Open your elbows wide and lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. You can look up if you like, and then look in towards your heart and touch your elbows together, rocking back on your buttock bones. Inhale with the heart, exhale round the spine, rolling on those ischial tuberosities. Inhale up and front, exhale back. That's it. So do a few more at your own pace. Inhaling, exhaling. And then inhale and exhale. Rest your hands down. So I don't want this video to go on too long, and I'm not even sure how long it's gone so far, but I'm imagining it's probably pushing 10 minutes or more. We'll just do a little more, and so we've moved our spine in the sagittal. I want to move it a little bit in the coronal plane, which means the side plane. We're all quite familiar with that word at the moment, corona, but it means like the halo or the side plane around you. So just bring your hands together and stretch up, lengthen up. Inhale and exhale. Let's bring your right hand to the floor and left arm over. And you're reaching up and over. As you reach up and over, make sure that right shoulder is not going up also. It wants to draw down. The shoulder blade is hugging around into your back ribs, and that upper arm is reaching away from the buttock bone or the hip of that side. So you're creating as much separation on that right side as possible. And you might add to that by just looking up from underneath your arm and certainly breathing. Back. And so let's go ahead and do the other side. The left arm, right arm stretches up. And left hand to the floor. And then again, reach down into the ground with your right buttock bone. And reach up and over with that right arm. Lengthen. And then you might turn your heart up to your eyes to look up from underneath that arm. So that this is good because it creates an extra lateral stretch, and it kind of prevents us from caving in and folding forwards. And then coming back up. Good. So one more thing, hands out to the knees and take a nice full inhale into your back ribs. And as you exhale, slide your right hand up to the right hip. And left hand stretches past the left knee. It's resting on my leg. I know the camera's not picking that up, but my hand's on my leg. So inhale and exhale, look around over your right shoulder, looking at my Ganesh on the wall there, and then coming back to center. Inhale, grow taller. Exhale, slide your left hand to the top of your left leg, and right hand reaches past the knee, and you're going to look around over your left shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, pivoting around to look over the right shoulder. Inhale, center. And it's important to keep that head carriage stacked right over the body. Right above the body, chin level. And back to center. I'm going to leave it here, and hopefully in a following video I'll do something for legs and lower body. But for now, maybe just stretch your legs out. Rub the backs of your knees, rub the fronts of your knees, bounce your knees up and down. And thank you so much for joining me. I didn't introduce myself, so if it's the first time watching one of my videos, I'm Hazel Patterson. I teach for YogaWorks in Los Angeles, and right now I'm quarantining where I live on the central coast of California. Namaste.